Hello, my name is Kenshi Okubo of Kyoto Culture Association. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about our project today. I'd like to begin with a quick question. What do you think of when you hear the words replica or reproduction? Copy, imitation, or fake may spring to mind. Almost everyone, especially those who specialize in the fine arts, may have a more negative impression of reproductions. Of course, there are exceptions like ukiyo-e, Japanese wood block prints, which are highly valued today. But basically, reproductions rarely have any other meaning than as decorative objects. And that was my opinion when I used to work in a Japanese antique gallery. I sometimes had the opportunity to handle reproductions, but they had no value to me. But after working at the gallery for a few years, I moved from Tokyo to Kyoto, and now I'm involved with a project producing reproductions called Tsuzuri project for 10 years. So, what is the Tsuzuri project? Today, I'd like to introduce how reproductions are used in this project, highlight its positive aspects, and explain its significance. First, let me begin with an overview of the Tsuzuri project. The organizer is Kyoto Culture Association, where I work, and the sponsor is Canon, one of the biggest electronics manufacturers in Japan, especially famous for cameras. The project started in 2007, so now we are in its 16th year. In this project, we combine Canon's cutting-edge digital imaging technology and traditional craftsmanship of Kyoto to produce full-size reproductions of precious Japanese paintings which are housed in inside and outside Japan. We call it high-resolution facsimile. The purpose of this project is to conserve the originals and at the same time utilize the reproductions we have made. So, why are we promoting this project? Because Japanese paintings are not always available to view, even if you want to see them. People who are not familiar with Japanese paintings may think, what is he talking about? Let me explain. This is a photo I took a few years ago when I visited the room in the Louvre Museum where the Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci, is on display. You can see a small Mona Lisa in the back of the photo. Numerous people from all over the world visit this room to see the painting, and she is always there unless she is being restored. But this doesn't apply to Japanese painting. This is because Japanese paintings are very fragile, unlike oil paintings in Western art. Japanese paintings are mainly painted on Japanese paper, silk, or board using pigments, which are color materials made from natural rocks, shells, and plants, mixed with animal glue, called nikawa. Unlike oil paintings, which are usually coated with varnish, the surface of Japanese paintings are exposed to the air when on display, so they are extremely sensitive to temperature and humidity. Therefore, if Japanese paintings are continuously exhibited, various adverse things can happen, such as peeling, cracking, and fading due to the expansion and contraction of the medium. Currently, by Japanese law for the protection of cultural properties, paintings designated as Japanese national treasures are restricted to a 60-day limit on their display and cannot be moved more than twice for exhibition purposes. And as mentioned, Even if there is a Japanese painting you would like to see in a museum in Japan or abroad, it is not guaranteed that you will be able to see it. Chances are limited. I think that this is one of the reasons why our reproductions are necessary for Japanese paintings. In other words, by exhibiting reproductions with virtually no restrictions on the duration and location of the exhibition, we can satisfy the demand of those who wish to see the works. Then, how do we make a high-resolution facsimile? The production process of a reproduction are mainly divided into 6 parts, namely capturing images, image processing, color matching, printing out, applying gold leaf, and mounting. Let's take a look at each of the process by taking the making of a reproduction of the wind god and thunder god as an example. Number 1. Capturing images. The original work is photographed using a DSLR camera, EOS R5, capable of high resolution of 45 million pixels. The artwork is automatically photographed in sections to capture detailed data. Color elements such as ink and mineral pigments, reflective materials such as gold leaf are accurately recorded. Number 2. Image processing. Each screen of the wind god and thunder god was photographed as 168 frames. Each small frame is ultra-high resolution, that is 12 times more than a full HD image. The 168 frames are recombined to create 4.2 billion pixels of super high-resolution data. Number 3. Color matching. For each original work, we extract information necessary to create a precise, unique color profile. This unique color matching technology accurately recreates the colors of the original work. Colors can be compared with the original on the spot within the shooting environment. Number 4. Printing out. A high-performance large-format printer maximizes the results of sophisticated color matching. Dimensional depths and textures seen in the original are meticulously reproduced. Number 5. Applying gold leaf, and number 6. Mounting. Artisans demonstrate their mastery of traditional Kyoto skills, such as applying gold leaf and mounting, putting the finishing touches to reproductions that are as close as possible to the originals. Through this process, the reproductions are finally produced. The number of reproductions we have produced are 56 as of 2022. These are some examples of the reproductions we have made. Here, I must emphasize that this project has only been made possible with the cooperation of museums and temples inside and outside Japan. In fact, there are several projects and companies which produce reproductions in their own ways. So, from here, I'd like to talk about what makes Tsuzuri project unique. Number 1. High reproducibility through Canon's cutting-edge technologies and traditional craftsmanship of Kyoto. Number 2. Reducing the stress on original paintings in the process of making reproductions. I've already talked about these 2 things. Number 3. Donations of high-resolution facsimiles. We actually donate our reproductions to museums, temples, shrines, and local governments that are associated with the originals. I'd say that this is one of the most significant differences from other reproduction businesses which usually produce reproductions upon receiving an order from a client. And in most cases, the client bears the cost of producing them. In contrast, our project is 100% sponsored by Canon, so there is no cost to the recipients. Number 4, producing only one reproduction for each original in principle. Although this would not apply in case the owners of the originals wish to have multiple reproductions for educational or other purposes, we respect the originals and do not interfere with their region. Now, I'd like to show you how the reproductions we produced are used. Number 1. Replacement of originals with high-resolution facsimiles. I said that there is no permanent display of Japanese paintings in museums, but there are still numerous screen paintings on display which have been inherited over the centuries in temples and shrines. However, it's getting harder to preserve them due to changes in society and rises of natural disaster risks, such as earthquakes, floods. Here, by replacing the originals with our high-resolution facsimiles and making them available to public, we make it possible to keep the originals in safer places, such as museums. Number 2. School presentations using high-resolution facsimiles. As I mentioned earlier, as the number of days that Japanese paintings are open to public is limited due to conservation reasons, we don't actually have many opportunities to view the originals. So in order to create chances for people to become familiar with Japanese cultural assets, we collaborate with Kyoto National Museum and Kyoto City to provide visiting lectures using our reproductions. By the way, the photo on the right was taken when today's speaker, Mr. Fuertes, gave an online lecture at an elementary school in Japan using reproductions of the collection of the National Museum of Asian Art. Number 3. Exhibitions of high-resolution facsimiles. As I mentioned, we have made reproductions of 56 works as of 2022, and those originals are all valuable works that deserve to be designated as national treasures. That means it is very difficult to gather all these in one place. We have held exhibitions which could not have been achieved with the original paintings. Number 4. Interactive exhibit utilizing high-resolution data. Until recently, the use of the data we photographed was limited to the production of reproductions. This is our latest challenge. Working with Tokyo National Museum, the Kennedy Temple, we are using our reproductions and their high-resolution digital data acquired through the project to provide experience-based exhibit such as projection mapping that will help viewers gain a deeper understanding of the works when viewing them. As you have seen above, reproductions can be positively used in a variety of ways. So will these high-resolution facsimiles, which can be exhibited at any time and any place, replace the originals? I don't think so. The quality of reproductions has constantly advanced over the years that even art professionals now find it difficult to distinguish between an original and a reproduction at first glance. So I believe that if you look at the reproduction without preconceptions, you will be just as impressed as you are when you see the original. However, I don't think that this progress in quality means we are taking anything away from the originals. The analogy may sound strange, but it may be easier to understand if I compare it to a CD. A CD is a reproduction of a recording of a musician's performance. But if you hear a good song, you will be moved. And when you become a fan, you want to go and see them in concert. No matter how much the differences in appearance disappear, and even if we could reproduce the exact same surface, it will still not have the hundreds of years of history woven into it that the original has. For instance, as I showed you earlier, we have produced a reproduction of the Wind God and Thunder God by Tawaraya Sotatsu, which is now on permanent display at Kenninji Temple, the owner of the original, and is seen by about 300,000 people a year. Yet, when the original is exhibited to the public, do you think they will be satisfied with the reproductions? Personally, I don't know how many times I have seen the reproduction, but I still want to see the original when they are in exhibitions. Also, when I visit schools to give lectures with the reproductions, I have received many comments from students that they have become interested in seeing the original. It may be overly dramatic to say aura, but no matter how far you go, there are differences that are not evident from the appearance. And in that aspect, I don't think reproductions can compete with the originals. This is my opinion, but the role of reproductions is to support the originals in what they can't do. They are not adversaries, they are complements. In other words, they are not a threat to the originals, they are companions. Again, I believe that the significance of reproductions lies in the fact that they compensate for what the originals can't do by deepening interest in and understanding of originals. If you ever have a chance to visit Japan, please take a look at the reproductions we have made. Thank you very much for your time today.